How The Elder Scrolls III is played in 2021. The Elder Scrolls III: Morrowind game was released on May 1, 2002. Many readers were probably not born then. And despite its venerable age, the game is still good in 2021. I passed it, and I want to share my impressions. I played a modification of Full Rest Repack 4.0. To play, you need to have the original disc in the drive. Textures, shader water, highly polygonal characters and a lot of new content. Added a new Tamriel rebuild location. The game turned out to be huge, so let's briefly run through the 5 main locations. Morrowind. This is the island where the main story of the game unfolds, as well as hundreds of side quests. There are large cities, smaller cities and small towns on the island. Between some, but not all settlements, you can travel for money on silt striders. These are such giant flying beetles. Between some small villages, you can travel by boat, also for money. But I liked flying more, because when moving on the transport of the game, a lot of time passes, and often you can leave during the day, and come at night when nothing is visible, and then you have to wait for dawn, because I'm not comfortable playing at night. If you fly, then time goes as usual. In addition, new locations open up on the map when you fly over them or pass by. The capital of the region is Vivec. It is the largest city, consisting of 9 multi-story buildings in the Voloshan style floating in the water. The city is named after the immortal god Vivec, who lives in his own palace. Near the temple, the stopped moon Bardo hovered in the air, inside which the resident services and the prison were located. Settlements in the west of the island are villages with shacks. Settlements in the east of the island are houses in the form of plants. The southern villages are mostly stone. Balmorra is the second largest city, according to the plot. The liaison Kai lives there. There are also offices of all guilds. Balmorra is the residence of the House of Elu. If you complete a series of quests for the House of Elu, you can build your own estate in the south of the city. The very first location looks nice, the village of Seedanen, where the Imperial Chancellery is located. This is the most important port where all ships arrive. That's where we arrive at the very beginning of the game. There is a lighthouse in the village, a large pharos. Another small but cozy town is Saran, located on the bank of the river, and propped up from the east by a sheer cliff. All the houses are made of stone, like in Balmor. The city is divided into upper and lower parts. The southern town of Abingard is also interesting. The architecture of the city is imperial, in the style of the Imperial Legion forts scattered throughout the island. This is the home of Duke Vidamdran. In the port of the city, you can admire the statue of the dragon god Akadash. North of Balmorra is the city of Caldera. 19 houses are made in the Western Imperial style. The Caldera's Ebonite mine is the only Ebonite mining site on the island. The city of Aldrun is located north of the Caldera. This is the base of House Raydoran. If you complete quests for this house, you can get an estate north of the city. The estate will be executed, as well as all 28 buildings of the city in the traditional Raydoran style. In the northeast of the island of Vardenfell is the city of Sidrat Mara, the base of the House of Telvanni. If you complete the quests of the House of Telvanni, you can get an estate in the same vegetative style in which all the cities of Telvanni are built. Telvanni do not build their houses, but grow them with the help of magic. The northern part of the island is deserted and lifeless, but the southern, coastal part is more pleasant, with extensive green vegetation. In the center of the island is Red Mountain, the habitat of the main villain of the main plot. In addition to the main plot, there are a large number of side missions. Mostly side missions are associated with different guilds, but there are single tasks that are not related to anything. The main lines of side quests are issued by the Guild of Warriors, the Guild of Magicians, the Guild of Thieves, the Imperial Legion, the Imperial Cult, the Temple of the Tribunal. You can join all these guilds at the same time, they do not conflict with each other. In each of these guilds, you need to complete tasks. In the process they will receive promotions in the guild. The final point in the series of tasks of each guild becomes the task, To lead the guild. In addition to guilds, there are also chains of tasks of great houses, of which there are 3. But you can only enter one of the houses, the other 2 become inaccessible. Moreover, when you are a member of one of the houses, the final mission in each house will be to destroy all the members of the other 2 houses. Then there's the Morag Tong Assassin's Guild. It is better to complete her tasks after completing all the main and side missions, since the tasks of this guild will have to kill the quest characters of other guilds, and it will be impossible to complete side quests related to these characters. To lead the Guild of Fighters and become a master of the Guild of Fighters in the final mission, you need to choose which of the 2 heads to support, the old honest idiot corrupt. To lead the Guild of Magicians and become an Archmage, you can either defeat the current head in a duel, or simply complete all the tasks of the guild and become the head automatically. To lead the Guild of Thieves and become a master of the craft, you need to kill the corrupt head of the Guild of Fighters, and if this was done through the questline of the Guild of Fighters, then the final mission of the Guild of Thieves will end automatically. To lead the Imperial Legion, a kind of law enforcement service of the region, and become a Dragon Knight, you need to kill the current leader in a duel. It is impossible to lead an Imperial cult, for this guild, it is a kind of volunteer service to search for missing things, books and artifacts. You will simply be awarded the title of Primate. To head the Temple of the Tribunal and become a Patriarch, you only need to get to the sanctuary. Most of the temple's quests are reduced to getting to some kind of sanctuary or statue. In the Guild of Assassins Morag Tong, even more so to occupy the highest place, it is necessary to kill the current head. Your character has a variety of skills that can be divided into 4 classes. Combat is the handling of various weapons. Protective is the handling of armor, blacksmithing. Thieves are the ability to open locks on doors and chests, sneak, run fast, jump far. Magic is the ability to create and use various spells. As for me, using magic is not very convenient, melee combat is more practical. All skills can be pumped in 3 ways: actively use the skill, find a teacher by skill, or find special books, reading which raises the skill. The plot of the main line of quests in short: rise from the very bottom, gain the respect of various factions, earn money, equip. All in order to kill the main villain Dagat Hara, sitting in the bowels of the tower of the same name in the center of the island. Side quests take much longer than the main plot. I was particularly troubled by tasks to accompany some character from point A to point B. I often have to be saved, because not very smart partners easily get stuck in textures, drown in reservoirs, are eaten by all kinds of animals. After completing the quests of one of the 3 houses, we build our fortress estate at the end. You can't play for all 3 houses at once, and even if you help yourself with codes, this can lead to crashes and the impossibility of further passage, since the quests of the houses are mutually exclusive. It's nice, of course, to have an estate, but after its construction there is nothing to do there. No quests appear in the estate, but perhaps there are some amateur editions. Tribunal. This blood edition takes place in the capital of the province of Morrowind, Mournhold. The city is located on the mainland. From the very beginning of the game, the main character will be pursued by the killers of the Dark Brotherhood after waking up in any bed. It turns out that none other than King Hulset himself ordered us to the killers. Moreover, it will not be possible to find out what kind of business it is. When we present this order to the head of the Royal Guard, he will not answer anything and will offer to work for the king. That is, all this fuss with hired assassins in every bedroom was in order to attract our attention, lure us to the capital and offer to work for the king. In the original version, there was only one way to get there: to suffer from the night attacks of the assassins of the Dark Brotherhood, then to find Apples Matthias in Abengard. He would give permission to travel to Mournhold. After that, the magician Ogian Rain will be able to teleport us. But in some versions of the game, Apples Matthias disappeared from Abengard, and the magician did not have a dialogue thread about the journey. There are 2 more ways to get to the capital now. The free add-on Let's Go to Mournhold adds Hadget Murnalong Legged to Balmaura Street. He is also a magician, and can move to Mournhold and back without any conditions. And if you are able to get to the capital without the help of the magician Ogian Rain, then upon your return to Ebengard, the magician will teleport you without question. And the third way is to walk or fly. The capital is located very far to the south of the map. Fly from Ebengard strictly to the southeast and do not fly past a large built-up area with greenish buildings, many times larger than Vivek in area, will not be able to go unnoticed. There are 5 large locations in the capital: Godsrich, the Grand Bazaar, the Tribunal Temple, the Palace and the Plaza. There is nothing on the plaza except the fountain in the center. Under each location there is a large branched sewer, where you often have to go down to perform various tasks, and under the central fountain of the plaza there are extensive dungeons. Compared to Morrowind's quests, there are few tasks in the Tribunal. According to the main series of quests, you need to help the guard, the temple, the king and the god Almalexia a little. Moreover, this very goddess Almalexia will turn from a quest giver into the main opponent. From Almalexia's corpse, the ring of the Barlazar labyrinth ribbon will fall, which we will bring her earlier in one of the quests. Only with the help of this ring will it be possible to get out of the location of the battle with Almalexia. Also, this ring allows you to quickly teleport between the Temple of Mournhold and the Temple of Vivek. For the elimination of the Mad Goddess, the king will give out a set of red armor of the Royal Guard. Interestingly, outside of Mournhold, no residents know anything about Almalexia, and when you try to talk about it, they will answer you, "And who is it?" All buildings in the Godsrich quarter are made in the same greenish style. Especially worth noting is the Museum of Artifacts in Godsrich. It can sell 32 artifacts scattered throughout Morrowind. But you should not sell everything at once, because according to the plot of the Tribunal, you need to donate any 2 artifacts for free, and if by this time you hand over all the finds to the museum, then it will be impossible to pass the storyline. The museum has 2 floors with exhibits, which are guarded by senior residents. Only 4 items can be found in Mournhold, the remaining 28 are in Morrowind. Back in Godsrich, there is an underground sweepstake in the basement of Ignatius Flacca's house. 4 robots are fighting in the arena. You can bet on one of the robots, and double the bet if you win. Another difficult side mission is the task of the Champion of Utensils. The task is given by Dutrite Iscaria on the 2nd floor of the Hall of Masters. The point is to find a large number of different dining items. We'll have to search the ruins under the plaza fountain, and for 1 plate we'll have to drag ourselves to the caldera, to the merchant Varric Gaiman. There is an interesting mission at the Great Bazaar location with participation in a performance in a street theater. There you need to read the script before the performance, then correctly give out replicas on stage, and get a pin in the side from a grateful viewer for the finale. There is also a mission of Mater Gilned in the bazaar. She's looking for a husband. The unusual thing about this mission is that there are 3 candidates, but only choosing one of them can lead to receiving an important award, an artifact for the museum, a bipolar blade. If you do not know this nuance, then you can bring the woman with the wrong gentleman, and the mission will be considered completed, but you will not be able to get the artifact. But even choosing the right husband, it may happen that Mater will not like him, and you will not get the blade. Then you'll have to load the save and pimp again. In the quarter of the temple in the courtyard there is an interesting character, a forest elf. He's begging. If you give him he will ask for more money every time, so he will have to refuse sooner or later anyway. And when you refuse him alms, he will be offended. After that, when you get back to the temple courtyard, the elf will be dressed in a full set of ebony armor and attack you. So it will be possible to get hold of ebony armor. If we can build an estate in Morrowind and Blood Moon, then we are not welcome in the capital, that is, we will not be able to get our own estate. They will be questioned and thrown. After completing the story campaign and all side quests, you can go to kill King Helset. From his cold corpse it will be possible to remove a unique ring, the Royal Seal. Moreover, it will not be possible to steal the ring, no advanced level of theft will help. This signet is the most powerful ring in the whole game. It gives immunity to charms, immunity to any magic, restoration of health and strength by 10 points per second. The developers did not expect that the ring would fall into the hands of the hero. On the contrary, they wanted to make the king the strongest character in the game. Blood Moon is a story supplement set in the provincial capital of Morrowind. The addition of the Blood Moon takes place on a separate small northwestern island of Solstheim. The central and northern parts of the island are covered with snow. The largest settlements are the Imperial Fort of the Frost Butterfly, the Raven Rock, which we have to build from scratch, the village of Scales, the village of Tursk from one house, the ice castle of Karstag. The island is accessible from the very beginning of the game. It will be offered to visit it at the very beginning and see Edenina Vodunus Nutsis. You can swim by yourself, or you can sail by boat from Hul. Naturally, the island is divided into two parts. The northern part is completely covered with snow, and in the south there is green, coniferous vegetation. Due to the presence of Christmas trees in the snow, the terrain may even slightly resemble the middle strip of Russia. The Frost Butterfly Fort is the only fort on the island of Solstheim. According to the plot, it will be attacked by werewolves, and will be partially destroyed, but then restored. The main plot begins in the Frost Butterfly Fort, where Captain Carius is in charge of everything. He will give several tasks, after which he will disappear. Later it turns out that he was abducted by Lord Drahirtsign. We are sent to search for the captain in the Skal village in the north. In the Great Hall of the village, an effigy of the Rock Rider, who do not live on the island, is suspended from the ceiling. Trader Bronrod Gorlopant sells spells to increase skills. The skills are such in northern people. To earn their trust, you will have to perform a number of rituals. After completing all the rituals, the Skal village will be attacked. We will have to fight it off, and in the process we will be infected with lycanthropy. Next, the quest chain is bifurcated. If you take the medicine, then we will play for a person. If we don't take the medicine, we'll turn into a werewolf. I didn't want to play for a wolf, I chose the path of a man. After a series of quests, we will get to the lair of the main villain Hertsign, the ice castle Karstag. There will be a maze in which we will meet, among other things, the kidnapped Captain Carius, and if we leave him alive, he will return to the Frost Butterfly Fort. When we defeat the villain Gertsign, we will be shown the final video, where the villain will threaten us that he will return at the next sunrise of the Blood Moon. This completes the main quest, but there will be a bunch of side tasks. There is a large chain of quests of the Eastern Imperial Company. It begins with the fact that there are 3 migrants in the port of the fort. They want to establish a settlement northwest of the fort called Raven Rock. We take them to the place and the tasks begin. We need to complete tasks, and gradually the village will be overgrown with houses. A bar will appear, merchants' huts. The basis of the village will be a mine where Ebonite is mined. At one point, the task branch will split and you will need to choose a path, either to complete the tasks of Carnius or Falco. The first is the head of the Eastern Imperial Company, sitting in his office in the fort. The second is a member of the same company who settled in the Raven Rock. The difference is that Carnius' quests are aimed at destroying the Raven Rock, fraud and theft, while Falco's quests are aimed at creation. I chose Falco. In the end, we have to kill one of the heads. If we play on Falco's side, then we kill Carnius, and vice versa. And at the end of the company's quest series, we have to build our own estate, about the same as it was in Morrowind. There are characters scattered around the island who give single tasks. Also, one-time tasks are given out by the characters in the fort. But sometimes you have to drag yourself far. For example, you need to get an aircraft quest in Aldrun, and even fly there quite far, and after completing the quest you need to move to Aldrun, pass the quest there, and then return to the island for the next quests. On the island there is a settlement of Thirsk, consisting of one house, but an apartment, a type of hotel called Honey Hall. As a result of completing several quests in Thirsk, we will be recognized as the leader of Thirsk and will be regularly supplied with honey, and we will also be allocated our own room on the second floor. Thirsk, according to the plot, was attacked by the monster Udurfruit, an enhanced version of a troll, usually. We have to kill him, after which Thirsk will be restored. The Cursed Captain quest is interesting. According to the plot, you need to remove the spell from Captain Tormur. He is doomed to eternal wakefulness after he fell asleep at the helm of the ship and arranged a shipwreck. The curse will be lifted by Old Gieler. After removing the spell, Tormur will go to sleep in Thirsk, after which he will give us a reward. That's where the fun begins. The key to the Gildenhall Mound, located on a separate island in the northeast of Solstheim, will be a gift for us. Inside the mound, in addition to potions and weapons, there is money on the floor, a lot of money. The whole floor is literally covered with money. Another interesting side quest can be considered, Betrayal in the Broder Grove. There is a location in the center of the island, Broder Grove. There are 3 stones in the clearing, and a cave next to it. Ulfgar the Infinite lives in the cave. He will tell the story that these 3 stones are his 3 friends. As a result of short research, we will have to kill Ulfgar in a fair fight, so he will connect with his friends and there will already be 4 stones in the clearing. And the stones are not simple. When each stone is touched, one of the 4 characteristics will increase by 10 units: speed, agility, attractiveness and strength. Tamriel Rebuild is a very large amateur edition. The mod is still under development, but I was able to complete the quests that are available. Unfortunately, all entries in the diary are in English, but generally understandable. Another disadvantage is that the eastern edge of the mainland is not displayed on the global map, but only on the local one. Therefore, it can be difficult to find the right locations. Also, for some reason, all the questioners of all guilds refused to give out tasks, despite the fact that I was already in all guilds thanks to the passage of the main game. Probably, this was due to the fact that after passing all the previous editions, I became the head of all houses, guilds and cults, and the head of everything, and everything is not given quests. So if you start the game from scratch in Tamriel, then perhaps quests will be issued. Therefore, I had to give myself quests through console commands. There is no one main quest, there are several series of quests, as well as a bunch of single ones. The creators of the mod set a goal to recreate the entire province of Morrowind. The addition brought a new transport, Sea Striders. If ordinary striders are beetles flying through the air, then marine ones are floating beetles. In the northeast of the map, on its own island, is the port of Telvanni, the capital of the House of Telvanni. All 43 buildings are made of plants, as is customary with Telvanni. The members of the ruling council of the House of Telvanni are located in the Telvanni Council House. They give out tasks in a series of quests for the House of Telvanni. The council house is different from all other buildings, it is made in the shape of a blue ball. West of the port of Telvanni is the town of Runyon Run. It is controlled by Lord Telvanni Master Mitras, who issues a whole series of quests related to the establishment of life in the city, but only if you are a member of the House of Telvanni. There are 40 characters in 17 houses of the city. After that I went to the village of Galmok. It is located west of Oldabengard. There are 7 characters living in the village. 5 shacks stand on the water, and there is a modest Hilu estate. The owner of the estate gives one task, to pass a joke by in the village of Ul, located southeast of Oldabengard. The Fighters Guild offers a large number of quests in different cities. I started with the Fighters Guild in Firewatch. It is a large imperial city in the Telvanni lands. It has powerful fortifications and a lighthouse, and in total there are 31 buildings in the city. From the Guild of Firewatch Fighters, several tasks are given in Bawai. It is a port town in the Western Imperial style, located in the north of the peninsula. The town is home to 55 characters in 23 buildings. There are opponents in the city, musk flies, the size of a rock rider, and because of them there is no one on the street. There is a quest in the city, as a result of which it will be found out who is luring flies, and it will be possible to get rid of them. After getting rid of the flies, the streets of the city will be filled with people. The business of the Fighters Guild brought me to Helnheim, the second largest imperial city in the domain of the House of Telvanni. The city has two zones. There are 69 buildings in the imperial part. There are 16 Telvanni plant houses in the Telvanni zone. If you look into the basement of the castle of Helmheim, you can find a lot of gold coins there. The next part of the quests of the Fighters Guild is issued in Akamor. The houses there are built in the Mournhold style, green buildings. There are 28 buildings in total. The city is the domain zone of the House of Indral. In Akamor, you can get several tasks, for which you will have to visit the most unusual city on the continent, Necrom. It is a huge temple city made of white stone in the east of the continent. The architecture of the city made of white stone is unique and is not found anywhere else on the continent. The city has docks and huge catacombs in which it is easy to get lost. The spirits of the ancestors in these catacombs give out several tasks. But even those characters who roam the streets of the city, and seem to be ordinary NPCs, may actually be spirits. There are 25 buildings in the upper district. There are 36 houses in the port district. South of Ivek, across the strait, the largest imperial city, Oldabengard, stretches along the coast. There are 6 ships in the port of the city, and there are 110 buildings in the city, which is a lot. On a separate island connected to the mainland by a bridge, there is a Nebon Tower. The entire leadership of the city is located there. The next major area of the city is the central square, where the headquarters of many guilds are located. There is a quarter of artisans where you can buy all kinds of equipment and utensils. There is also a slum quarter with eateries. In the port quarter, there are ships on the Eternal Dock, and the port administration is also located. In the port of Oldabengard, on the instructions of the Guild of Magicians, you will need to kill the Isagenik. The town of Almaztir is located strictly to the south of Oldabengard. The missions of the Tribunal Temple lead there, and there are also several single tasks in the give-and-take style. The city in its architecture is like a reduced copy of Ivek, consists of one large block on the bed of the Ta River. The city is located on a bridge over this river. Literally within walking distance from Almaztir, just to the east of it, the town of Roadir is hidden. The town looks extremely nice. Green buildings are made in the style of buildings from the capital's Mournhold. A little to the west of Roadir in the middle of the riverbed in the ruins of Hadram Nibibi stands the witch Sinil. She has a quest to kill Dra-Uridamu in Hallen. Hallen is a large location with many levels in Oblivion, the local equivalent of Hell. Sinil teleports us there. Hallen is the realm of the dead, where you can only meet ghosts. You can return from Oblivion to Tamriel only by wearing the Sihil amulet, and if you return without killing Uridama, she will be very upset and attack you. If everything goes as it should, you will receive a reward. Far to the south of Akama'ura, the town of Basma'ura was lost in dense thickets. There are a couple of quests to catch robbers in the Indral Vault. There are many thousands of gold coins in this vault, so with a sufficiently developed stealth and hacking skill, you can replenish your pockets well. Between Akama'ura and Basma'ura on the banks of the river there is an interesting and unusual SPA hotel, Draenum Spa. There, all sorts of residents of the province can lie in open and closed pools with hot water. The hotel is located northwest of the small fishing village of Draenum, where a carpenter is unsuccessfully trying to build a boat. According to the Book of Records, this hotel was visited by King Helset. There is one quest connected with the hotel. You need to eliminate robbers who interfere with vacationers. Not all settlements are inhabited by NPCs. The developers have taken on too much front work. But, despite all the shortcomings, the province of Tamriel will allow all the loyal fans who have gone through all the official editions inside and out to enjoy the game a little more.